Hello world, how is life? Welcome back to the channel. I am Andros.
Demi here.
And in this lesson, we're covering simple basic sentence structure. For instance, how to use a pronoun, a single pronoun, and plural pronouns, what are those differences, how to use a verb, a noun, or an adjective in a sentence, how to negate the sentence, how to say it's not or not something, okay? And last but not least, how to ask questions, okay? It's going to be a very simple but long lesson. So are you guys up for it? Are you?
Yes.
Let's go.
So let's start with Mandarin first. First, we are going to talk about how to say these, those, and these, and that. So for the single forms, this is 这个 or 这 plus other counter. But don't worry, we will cover the counters in a separate lesson.
Yep.
So for now, the most common way is just to use 个. So 这个 and then that is 那个. For plural form, we say these, 这些, those, 那些. For example, those dogs. How to say that?
那些狗.
Yeah, pretty good. Or this book. How to say that?
This book, right? 这个书.
Yes. So next, we are going to talk about when we refer to person in plural form. Last time we talked about like you, me, they, not like the he, she, it. That's 你, 我, 他. And when we refer to a bunch of people, like we or they or you in plural form, it's easy. We just add 们 after those words. So 你们, 我们, or 他们.
Okay. 你们, 我们, 他们. And it doesn't matter what gender it is, right? For instance, I say those guys. I say 他们,
他们,
right?
Yeah.
Or those girls, 他们 as well.
Yes, but the character
Yeah,
will
of
be
course,
a
yeah.
little bit different.
Yeah, I think I mentioned that in the last video or something, right?
Yes.
他 can be used for he, she, it, but the character in Chinese is totally different, right? Okay, so similar here, right? Just the only difference here, the plural form, you just need to add 们
Yes.
after 他. Is that correct?
Yes.
I learned fast, am I?
Yeah. Next, we want to talk about like a simple sentence. For example, 我们是人 or 我是人, I'm person or we are people. In this case, is or are or am, they are or 是 in Chinese, and there's no plural form of this verb, so all of them translate into 是.
Oh, that's neat. Really?
Yes.
It's only 是. That's so nice. Wow.
And for 人, person, people, we don't have a plural form as well, just 人.
Okay, fair enough.
And what if we are going to say something negative? We are not people.
People.
That in that case, we just add 不 in front of those. So we are not people. 我们不是人.
Then what are we? 我们是谁? But yeah, simply put, you can just ask 我们, right? Is it 我们不是人? Right? 不是, 不 is like not. 是 is, right? Is not kind of thing. And are not is also the same.
Yeah.
Got it.
How about if we want to describe, putting adjective describing some person, some things. Then we say 我们 for example, we are smart. That's an adjective.
Yeah.
So we smart is 聪明. So we say 我们很聪明. although it's we are smart, but we don't actually say 是 in this case. Yeah, that's if we are using like an adjective.
Okay.
And if we want to say we are not smart, then we just put the 不 in front of the adjective, saying 我们不聪明.
Okay, fair enough. Cool. This is for adjectives only.
Yes. Now, how about verb? Something we usually do, like we go to school or we go to work.
Yep.
In that case, for example, we go to school, we can say 我们去学校.
Okay, we go to school. Okay. Yep.
And if you want to say we don't go to school, then we can say 我们不去学校. Same thing. Yeah, just add a 不 in front of it.
Okay. Yeah. Remember, 不 is like negative.
Yeah.
Negative. Okay. Cool.
Easy.
Simple. Very simple.
Last but not least is ma, which is used when you ask some question. And basically, you just say a sentence and add ma at the end to make it a question. For example, are those dogs? 那些是狗吗? Or like if you say 那些是狗, that is those are dogs. And then you just add ma at the end to make it a question.
Okay, I see. Okay. And what about, for example, are they smart? I would say 那些人聪明吗?
Yeah, pretty good.
Makes sense. And let's use example for a verb then. Let's just say, do you eat rice? Rice is fan, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I think it would be I eat rice, right? Like do you eat rice would be 你吃饭吗? Correct?
Yeah, nice.
Nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's good.
Achievement unlocked. Okay. So this is my turn to teach you and you guys some Vietnamese, okay? So first of all, we're gonna covering this, that, these, and those. Let's go. So before diving right into how this and that, I would like to tell you guys about two ways that we would address things in general, right? There are two ways. One way is when you address living things, and the second way is when you address non-living things. When you address living things, you put a particle con in front of a noun. For instance, this cat, right? They say this cat, you will say con mèo. Cat, right? Con mèo. There's a particle for a living thing. Cat is a living thing, so con and mèo is the cat. It's his living thing, right? And for instance, I have a pen here. A pen is not living things, right? So the particle, instead of con, you use cái.
Cái.
Yep, right? Good. So cái bút chì. Bút chì is a pencil, right? Cái bút chì. That makes sense? Okay. I think now is a good start for us to dive into this and that and these and those. Okay. So how to say this, given what I've just told you? How to say the cat only?
Con meow.
Perfect. Exactly. And this cat, specifically this cat, right? You add này after the noun, the pronoun, right? For example, con mèo này means
this cat.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. That's this cat. What about that cat? Very simple. Con mèo kia.
Kia.
Kia. Yeah. Perfect. Right. That's the only two difference. Use này and kia. Này is for this. Kia is for that.
Okay.
Very simple, right? And now we're moving to, what about you want to describe or ask about two cats, or like those cats or these cats, right? It's very simple. Just like Mandarin, you add những in front of, like the cat, or like noun, the pronoun that you're using. How to say these cat?
Nhung con mèo này.
Yes. Yep. Right. Con mèo này is this cat, right? and by just adding những in front of it makes the cat make you describe the cats in plural forms, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So in plural forms, we cannot forget to mention we and they, right? So they in Vietnamese you say họ for humans, họ for those people, right? They you say họ, okay?
Họ.
And for animals you don't really say họ because họ is for humans, right? So animal you say chúng, okay, got it. Okay, next of all we will move on and say we. For instance, remember in the previous lesson we talked about there are different ways of saying me, right? Because depends on your role and age, right? So for instance, in general, for example, you have the metaphor for the first time, you say, like for example, we, you say chúng tôi, yeah, or tụi tôi. They are the same way of saying it, right? Tụi or chúng tôi is the same way of saying it. Okay. But for instance, the person you just met, for instance, is your brother's friend, right? And the brother's friend is younger than you. What do you say? Because you are older than the brother's friend, you will say chúng anh or tụi anh.
Okay.
Correct? Yeah. Cool. And I think I forgot to tell you guys. There's a way of saying you guys, right? Haven't told you guys that yet, but there's a special way of saying that in Vietnamese. It's when you put the word các in front of like the noun. For example, các anh is like you guys, but they're older than you, right? Các anh or các chị is like you guys, but they are sister. They're like older than you in terms of age. So how do you say you guys who are younger than you?
Các em.
Yeah, perfect. So at this point, I think we've covered only the noun, the first part of the sentence, right? Now we move to the next part of the sentence where you use verbs. For example, is, are, and then to describe or someone, adjective follows it or like another verb as well. It doesn't matter, right? But this is where we're covering the verb, the middle part of the sentence. Okay, ready?
Yes.
Is and are in Vietnamese can be said in one way, là.
Okay, so that's the same as Chinese.
Yeah, very simple. The only thing you need to keep in mind is the noun, right? Yep, it's like we, he, she, it, just those part. And the verb is just the same. It doesn't matter whether it's a plural or singular pronoun, all right?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, it's not that simple.
Why?
Because it's better to think of the way you use is or la differs in when you use it as a verb or noun or an adjective.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of makes sense so far. Okay, let's go with an adjective first, which is the easiest, right? Thông minh in Vietnamese means smart. Okay. Try to guess how you say I am smart.
Tôi là thông minh.
Good start, but so this is interesting, right? When you use an adjective to describe someone, you don't add la to it.
Okay.
For example, in your sentence, you cross out the la. You say tôi thông minh. That's it. You don't say tôi là thông minh. Okay? Okay, so that's for an adjective. Now, next would be for a verb, right? For a verb, again, you don't really say, I am eat or something. You say I am eating, right? But this is another grammar point, so I'm not going to dig deep into it because there's no use case for it, right? Okay, so for a noun, that would make things more interesting. How do you say I am a dog?
Tôi là what is dog?
Chó.
So tôi là chó.
You forget something.
Tôi là con chó.
That is perfect. Shit. But yeah, anyway. So she's correct, right? Tôi là con chó. I am a dog, right? Cool. Pick up very fast. Now, moving on to the negative. Okay? When things get negative, which means things tend to get interesting as well. So let me give you a hint, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you try to negate the sentence, you say không before anything that follows it. Right? Okay. So let's do for an adjective case first, right? Again, it's easy to split, to three different cases: adjective, verb, and noun, so that things make things simpler for you guys. So for example, how we say I am not smart.
Tôi không thông minh.
That is correct. Yep, she learned so fast. Remember, for an adjective case, you don't need to use la. Okay, you just need to use the noun that comes, the pronoun first, and then the adjective that describes the noun right after. And if you want to negate the sentence, you just basically add the word không before it. Make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect. So since you can negate an adjective, we're going to negate a verb. Let's just say I eat. Right? Eat is ăn. How to say I eat in Vietnamese? Very simple.
Tôi ăn.
Yep. Similarly, how do you say I don't eat?
Tôi không ăn.
That is correct. Yep. Very similar to an adjective case. All you need to do is add không in front of the verb.
Okay.
Which negates the action itself. Very simple. Okay?
Easy.
Yep. But now comes the interesting part. The noun. How do you say, guess first, how do you say I am not a dog?
Tôi không là chó.
Okay, good guess. But again, now this is interesting. When you negate a noun, you have to add another word after the word không, and that is called phải. So you're gonna say không phải là. In this case, you use the word la because it's a noun, right?
Okay.
I am not a dog. Translated to tôi không phải là con chó.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
So at first, right, it's very interesting. Like the noun case is the most well-rounded because you're gonna use the word la, right, the particle la, and in order to negate it, you need to add không phải to it.
Phải.
Right? It's not không là, right? There's missing something. There's a không phải là, and the noun comes after that. Okay. Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're going to ask question now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So usually, you want to ask a question, or when you notice when someone's asking you a question, they tend to put the word không at the end, not anywhere else in the sentence. Okay, usually that's the case. But interestingly, it's better to split into three different cases again: adjective, verb, and noun. So I think let's move on to the first case first, adjective.
Mm-hmm.
How do you say, is that dog smart?
Yeah. So, con chó kia thông minh không?
That is correct. Perfect. Yeah. Con chó kia thông minh không? Is that dog smart? Perfect. Okay. Now, let's move on to verb. Okay. How do you say, do you eat? It is ăn. Do you eat?
You. So, bạn ăn không?
Yep. Bạn ăn không? Okay. Very simple. Okay. Here comes the interesting case, the noun. How do you say, is this a dog?
Đây là không vô home.
Good guess, but remember when you negate a sentence with when the object is a noun, what do you use?
Không phải.
Không phải, exactly. So now, instead of saying just không, you say phải không at the very end of a sentence, right?
Okay.
You see how it's interesting, right? In a negative sentence, you say đây không phải là con chó, right? This is not a dog. It is a question, is this a dog? You would say đây là con chó, phải không? Phải không, right?
Okay.
It's like isn't it kind of thing, right? It's interesting. Like you have to, learn and practice a lot. When you speak to like a native, Vietnamese person just like me, then you will learn more and more. And you guys, we will not forget about you guys because we'll be posting a lot of practical lessons where we basically just converse with one another in our native language just to improve. So again, a case when there's a noun in an object, and when I ask a question, you could put phải không at the very end. And of course, you have to use là within a sentence before you add phải không at the very end, right? You would say, is this a dog? You would say, đây là con chó, phải không? Does it make sense?
Yes.
I hope that makes sense to you guys. But if not, comment below. I hope I'll clear things up better.
So to recap today's lesson, we talk about this, that, these, those, and referring to people, you, us, we, they, and yes, no, asking questions. That's a lot of things today.
It's a whole lot. Oh my god. I'm not sure if you guys learned a whole lot today, but we sure did, okay? And if you guys have any questions or any concerns about what we have covered today, comment below and we'll hopefully try to clear things up for you guys happily, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's it. Thank you so much for tuning in to this video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye bye.